Oh, so we're good
But
there.
you were right.
So you said you like biography and history, right?
History and biography.
All right.
So like I just, I do American history from mostly 1860 to 1930.
Okay.
Because that's pre-regulation.
Of business, you mean?
No.
Just
But it was just like the Wild West. So like,
got it. Okay.
like I've done this one.
Okay. Mornings on Horseback. Have you read his Wright brothers book?
Yes.
Okay, incredible.
I also have, like this one I read recently that
was
made me really
good.
angry.
Terrifying.
I also have enjoyed some novels lately.
Did you do
Yes.
The Fish That Ate the
Richard
Whale?
Cohen.
Okay.
Rich Cohen.
Yes. Have you read Churchill and Son?
No.
This is about Churchill and his dad, and then Churchill and his son. Because you have the sort of great man of history who did this so much, but then
Is
his
this one
struggles.
awesome?
It's sad. I think it's more a cautionary tale than awesome.
Why, was he a bad father?
He was way better than his parents, but then, I mean, you haven't heard of Randolph Churchill, right? Like, so, and I think he died in his 50s as like an alcoholic, probably. So it's a caution. It's more a cautionary tale. Like he's doing so much to try to make up for what happened to him, but then can't do it perfectly. I think it's good. I would take that one. Have you read this book? Do you know anything about Lafayette?
Is that the French guy who helped
Yes.
in the revolution?
Yes. This is incredible. So he comes here and works with Washington and helps win the American Revolution, and then he goes home and is active in the French Revolution, but more like stopping the excesses of it.
For the
So he's
first
like the most famous man in the world that
I
we don't talk
just
about.
read 1776 for the first time ever. I was so late to the party, and
Yes.
I'm into that.
I think you would like that one's incredible. That book is super, super good.
And then I was interested in Civil War, which I never...
Okay. Have you read Grant's memoirs?
everyone says they're the best.
They're maybe the best ever,
I
like
just
American
read
memoirs
all
ever
three
written.
of these 2 weeks ago.
Oh, those are good. Those are all very
Eric
good.
Larson's all right. I like Eric Larson.
So this is probably the best Civil War book ever. Bruce Catton is the greatest historian of the Civil War there ever was. I would read A Stillness at Appomattox. It's incredible. And then here's Grant's memoirs if you want that.
Wait, you're giving me all these?
Yeah, this is why I have a bookstore.
Oh my god. Like $100 for the books.
I think I can afford it. I think.
This one was good. I love that one. I just started reading this one.
Did you read this?
Chaos.
I told you about this one, right?
Is this about the tiger that kills people?
No, that's called The Tiger.
Is this fiction?
That is about Harper Lee. It's the book she tried to write after To Kill a Mockingbird.
Can I have this?
Yeah, of course.
Wait,
it's great.
I can't read all these. I could have put one back.
No, you can.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
And we're making a video, so it all works. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. Have you read The Tiger?
No.
Oh, yeah, do The Tiger too. The Tiger
that good?
The Tiger is maybe the greatest narrative nonfiction story you'll ever read.
All right.
They're hunting a tiger who is hunting them. It's insane.
I want to see things that I've read recently and get your take.
Okay.
I want to see what have I read that, and I want to get your opinion on it. Wait, do you read like this genre too?
Memoir? Yeah.
Like modern?
Some.
Like I would never have read that.
Oh, well, Josh is a friend of mine. I helped him with that book.
Well, I would read that.
It's good. It's good. He's really nice. He's
Well, he's
super
just
nice.
like not a person I know of. I just know him as like a celebrity.
Yeah. No, he's great. He and I met him when I was 19. I was working at this talent agency in Hollywood, and I signed this like YouTube guy, and he came in and like worked with this. We did like a video together that like his agents were like, "What the fuck is YouTube? What are you doing?" And I remember him being like high out of his mind, and we went and
On
looked.
what?
I think he was addicted to cocaine.
Great.
And a bunch of other things, like all kid stars were. And I remember him being high on his mind, but we looked at like the date of the video, and he was like, "No, I'd gotten sober like months before then," and so it was a very weird sort of flashback where like two people have very clear memories of an event, but didn't remember. Like I remembered him, but he didn't remember me at all because I was just like
a guy,
like an assistant at this thing. And then he messaged me on Instagram like 15 years later and was like, "Hey, I read your book," and I was like, "You would not remember me at all."
That's so funny, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's how it all kind of comes together every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's a good novel. Dude, I started reading Hemingway to my daughter because like, you know, you're supposed to read kids, and like I don't want to read kids books. I started, and
Why don't you want to read kids' books?
I don't know.
What Hemingway were you reading?
Just the famous one, Old Man in the Sea.
Oh, it's there. Have you read What Makes Sammy Run?
No. What's the best novel?
I mean, of all time. I mean, I don't know.
I like historical. So I read a bunch of Cormac. He was good. You want to know what's funny is I put that down.
You didn't like Gates of Fire?
I put it down.
Oh, interesting.
I put it down. What is All the King's Men?
It's very good.
Do you ever read alternative history books?
This is kind of alternative.
I love that.
Do you know who Huey Long was?
No.
Huey Long was this sort of corrupt governor of Louisiana, but like a very Trumpian figure. That was he was governor, and then he also ran for Senate, and he tried to hold both offices at the same time. He was just like a horribly corrupt whatever dude, but like the people loved him, and he built bridges and roads. This is in the 30s, like in the
During
Depression.
like the rise of the KKK.
Yeah, he wasn't like that. He was more like, do you know who Father Coughlin is? There were these sort of dictator-esque figures in American history that like could, when everything was falling apart, it could have gone in a different direction. And that's who Huey Long was. And this is a novel about that that's really good. And then this is also a very similar novel. Have you read It Can't Happen Here?
No.
That will keep you up at night also. That's about a dictator becoming president in the 30s.
I've been reading a lot of like If Hitler Won.
Yes. That's
I've loved reading
that's
stuff.
basically what the idea is, that it couldn't have happened here, but it could have, and that's what that's about.
I don't read a lot of novels. Sinclair Lewis is like the guy, though, right?
He was very famous. Yeah, there's a bunch of those like 20th century novelists who everyone would have known their name, and then at this point, all we know are like Hemingway and Fitzgerald.
I read this when I was younger.
Of course.
And that changes every.
I think every dude has to read that book.
Everyone, you're not your thing. Oh, dude, I just finished. I'm in the middle of reading Jack Card, The Terminal.
The Terminal List?
Yes, The Terminal List.
He came here. He signed a bunch of those. He's a good dude. I don't know What Makes Sammy Run is.
I don't even want anymore. I just want to ask more questions.
Yeah, well, ask whatever.
All right, let me see. Which one do I want to ask you a question about? Because you know all of these. You like reading Edison?
Yeah, Edison. That's not my favorite Edison biography. That one's interesting because it goes backwards. It starts at the end of his life. It starts with him dying, and then it's in reverse. It's in reverse chronological order. The whole book.
That sounds cool.
I'm not sure why he did it that way, but it does make it stand out.
Have you read this one?
Yeah, I've read let's say every book in the store with the exception of some of the fiction that my wife picked out.
How about have you know another weird thing that I've been into is there's a book on Columbine.
Oh.
Have you?
No, I know the book, but I have not read it.
I tweeted out that I liked it, and he DM'd me, and I was like, it felt like I was
the author did?
It felt like I was meeting
cool.
a celebrity, because like when you read someone's work, you like it's a parasocial relationship. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What else is here? This is awesome. Do you ever do cold plunges?
Yeah.
Have you ever like been in cold water?
Yeah.
So the water, so my cold plunge is typically like 48 to 50 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's the temperature of that water.
Yes.
When that boat sank.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm in it, I'm like, they were in this for an hour.
The best shipwreck
This is
book.
awesome.
The best shipwreck book is actually A Night to Remember, about the Titanic.
This one is?
Yes.
Can I have this one? This will be the last
Sure.
one.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Look at all these. This is, I'm also huge into serial killers. This is amazing. You read serial killer books?
Hey, Clarky.
I read a lot of crime, a shit ton of crime.
Sam's the true crime person. But you'll like Furious Hours. Sam, are we out of
Hi, I'm Sam.
Are we out of What
I
Makes
follow
Sammy
you on
Run?
Instagram. I love your donkey videos.
Thank you. I also love my donkey videos.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten to know them. Or like one time he had to like kill a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Or one time I think one of your cows died, and he's like,
probably up there.
here's the amount of time that it takes to get rid of a cow.
Yeah, right. This is how we do it.
Well, I had the same thing. I bought a ranch, and a cow died the third day that I had it, and it wasn't my cow. And I called the guy.
Whose
I'm like,
cow was it? Oh, did you have a cattle lease on it?
yeah, people use my property, and I'm like, hey, your cow died. Like, can you like get it? He's like, what? He goes, no, dude, it's gonna be gone in 4 days.
Ooh, no, way longer than 4 days.
Ooh, it depends. Like, what
Well,
came on it?
we're out in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
The vultures were around it, and the hogs went and got it. It was gone in like a week.
We've tried different methods.
Yeah, we have like a spot that's like the
spot,
dead
right.
animal
The graveyard.
elephant
Do you own-
graveyard.
How many cows do you own?
15 or 20?
Do you eat beef still?
Yeah.
I like stopped eating beef because I got to know them.
Well, don't eat yours.
Well, yeah, I was like,
I don't know. I feel like now that I've, especially chickens. Now that we've had chickens, I'm like,
Oh no, I'm okay with. I eat a lot of chickens.
yeah.
Ooh, what parenting books have you read? How old is your daughter?
Baby, or
Bring up, baby.
Bringing a Baby.
I don't know if we carry
We do
that.
not hear that one.
I've only read one parenting book.
But have you
My
read-
kid is 4 months old.
Have you read Dr. Becky?
What is it?
Have you read Dr. Becky?
No, I know she. You know who this is? You know who Scott Belsky is?
Uh-huh.
His wife, I believe, runs her.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
She's got like a community, right?
Yeah, yeah. She just actually invited me to join it. She's
His
great.
wife, Scott's wife, that's a power couple.
Oh. That book, that's the best parenting book.
Do you like this one the best?
I do.
What's it going to teach me? Yesterday, I lost my temper with my kid for the first time ever, and I felt ashamed.
You lost your temper on a 4-month-old?
She was crying, and I was like, Sarah, can you please come and hold her? Like, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you
at my
just
limit.
you get tapped out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
overstimulated.
at my, and I felt guilt all night.
But I think one thing we're learning is like, okay, that feeling where you're just like, I've hit my limit and you don't know what to do with those feelings. Like, think about the fact that it took you 30 plus years to get the awareness that that's what's happening to you and that's why you're acting the way that you're acting. And then go like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing like, literally all the time.
Yeah, it was really hard.
Read that one. That one will be perfect.
It was hard for me to understand.
What other ones would you recommend, Sam?
Ryan, you gotta tell them about the loose headphones.
The what?
The loose earplugs that I use.
Oh yeah, Sam wears earplugs. Just to
Like-
like turn down the volume on
And
things.
she like never cries, but I remember it was just like I was so upset. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm doing everything right. Do you like this guy? I've read a bunch.
Yeah,
of his
he's
stuff.
great. His short history of nearly everything.
Yeah, I've done it.
That's good.
What else do you like? That's funny. I read that one too.
That's good. He's coming in here in a couple weeks, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I'm one of the only guys ever to read this.
What do you mean? That book sold like 500,000 copies.
Did it really? I feel like this is like his least popular book, and I loved it.
It's a huge hit. No. It spent like weeks on the bestseller list, and it's like 15 years old and it's still selling.
So by the way, I like studied that.
That book is that's weirdly his fastest selling book.
I studied the shit out of it. I have so
So
many
good.
notes, and I
It's
like
really
made.
good.
If you Google 48 Laws of Power summary for a long time, I was the first result.
Oh, interesting.
This changed my life.
Well, of course, it's incredible.
This is the most life-changing thing I've ever read. This was cool when I was single,
Okay.
like to learn a little bit. What else do you have? This book, I actually enjoyed that
Also, what do you mean actually enjoyed it? Like that's like
because I don't like
beloved.
self-helpy books.
Oh.
I didn't read a lot of self-help, or I don't anymore at least. What else do you have that I've done?
Did you read Peter Attia's new one?
No, I read his blog, and is that enough?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good book.
Is that your wife's laughing at me? I felt like
No, we know Peter. Peter was like,
I read like every blog post, and I was like, I think
all right.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Okay, so Dr. Becky, I followed her on Instagram.
On Instagram, she's great.
I've read her for a while, but I feel like her book is the best. It's not even.
It's like we're talking-
the best stuff. It's just a little bit different.
Well, it's
Really?
also like we're talking about with mediums. Like there's a difference between like what works in a blog post and then the amount of thinking that you have to do and the way you have to marshal your argument and the story you're telling to be able to make a book work. And so if the book is good, it is going to be just naturally much better than any other medium. And that's why I think it is the oldest of the mediums.
All right, well, I'll read that one. This one is one of my favorites.
I know. But nobody buys that book in here.
I love this
But
one.
I think it's very good. And I wish you would just do round 2.
And the more time that goes on, the better it gets.
Yeah, because some of the companies become suddenly less interesting and important, and then other people go on to do lots of things.
This guy is the CEO of,
Scribe.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a new thing.
yeah. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see. TBD. What else do you have that I like?
I'm pretty sure on the D.
No comment. What else do you have that I love? This is pretty great. You've got a really good collection.
It's just our favorite books.
So this is, I just talked to this guy the other day, and he is personally implementing this in my companies for me.
I was going to ask you because you talked about how you only paid yourself a little bit amount of money, and I was going to ask you
And then
per that if you wish you'd paid yourself more early on.
Yes. The answer is yes.
There we
and
go.
I'm implementing this in our company.
Yeah.
And he spoke to our community, and he was like, by the way, do you use Copy First? I go, yeah, but I think I half-assed it. And he's like, well, let me do it for you. And I was like, all right, cool.
No, I learned in Die with Zero, he talks about that, and like he's basically like when you're like sort of penny pinching and being frugal, you're basically stealing money from your poor self to give to your rich self, right? Like so like now it's maybe it worked out, right? Like by not paying yourself more, then you got more later, but like what you needed the money then, and it could have dramatically improved your quality of life then, and now the marginal utility of the extra money is relevant to you. And so I think a lot of times, both individually and as entrepreneurs, you're way too stingy early for the hope of an exit or a multiple, at which point you won't care within like 50 or even 90% about all of that.
And Bill Perkins' Die with Zero, I think is the best title of a book.
It's pretty good.
That accurately describes like what it means,
yes.
what the book means.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a great title. It's a great book.
I like him a lot. I loved this thing. This thing changed my life.
I read that when it came out. Yeah.
And then you have Made to Stick, I bet. Right?
Probably. I don't know if we... we usually do.
Orange.
With the duct tape? Yeah. That was great.
That one. I love that one.
Killer cover.
I love that one. I loved this one.
Also good.
What else do you have that's interesting? You got
The Daily Drucker is what inspired the Daily Stoic, because my agent did that book when he was at HarperCollins.
So have you met, I believe, someone told me that the publisher who does this,
Bard,
he only does 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah, he just does books like that, where the people have a huge platform and it's sort of semi-self-published.
And I think, is Stephen Pressfield the other one that they did?
I don't think so. I think Stephen does all his books now.
I thought for some reason, I met and then it has like this guy who wrote it with him, I met him at a thing.
Jay Papasan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, this publisher only picks 1 a year or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I thought that was interesting. What else do you have that I like? His biography was awesome.
The Arnold book?
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. What else?
Sam,
That's the one I have.
did you see if we have What Makes Sammy Run? I didn't see it. But how could we be out of it?
I bought this
Oh, thanks.
bought that
Which edition? How early were you?
when you were on AppSumo.
Oh, okay.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
That was like 10 plus years ago, right?
Yeah, I may have to do it, like the audiobook rights are coming back up, like they were licensed because Audible, like you wouldn't do direct back then. And so they want me to, like, my publisher and I are getting the audio rights back, but not the masters. So they want me to re-record it.
Got it.
But I don't think it's worth re-recording a 10-year-old audiobook about something that old.
Sure.
So I may have to just redo the whole book.
So here's the ones of yours that I've read. This one.
Uh-huh.
This one. My favorite one of yours.
That means a lot to me. That's the one I'm most proud of.
That was my favorite one.
Okay.
That was awesome. This one years and years ago.
Uh-huh, that's the first.
This one, I
All
have
right.
that. And I did there's a journal in here, right?
No, the journal's right next to it.
I did the journal.
Uh-huh.
I've read this one. I've read that one. I've not read that one yet.
Ooh.
Oh,
I
so
think
I've
that
read a
might be
bunch
the
of yours.
most, that I wrote that one right around the time we had our first kid. And so that's probably the one that's most inspired by what I needed to know as a parent.
Stillness is the key. Oh, and
Yeah.
look. There you have.
There, yeah. She blurred it. You can take that one if you want.
Is this autographed?
Yeah, it should be.
Well, I don't want to take an autographed one.
I could sign another one.
I can take a used. Do you have a one with a sticker?
No. You might like the 2 kids books also, now that you have kids.
Which one?
Right there in the left corner.
Where?
Top left corner.
Oh, this?
Yeah, I self-published 2 kids books about
Did
stoicism.
you really?
Uh-huh.
Well, I have a girl.
Well, there you go. Then take that one. That's why I did that. Obviously, the Marcus Aurelius story is real, like in the sense that you have the most powerful man in the world who wasn't hereditarily a king, but he was adopted to be one. And then I just didn't like the idea that stoicism is only for men or for boys. And so I did the story of Epictetus, who's like the other end of the spectrum. Epictetus is a slave a generation before Marcus Aurelius. But Epictetus, the name, just means acquired one. Doesn't have like a gendered component, so I just made Epictetus a girl. Some people got very angry about it, but I did it for the exact reason that you just said, but I have a girl. And so, like with kids' books, you're like, is this about trucks or is this about whatever? And so that's why. That's the only reason.
And I have my baby is white, Jewish, and black. And so I'm always looking for mixed race kid books.
I don't know. Let's see. You want to know the kids section?
We found a few. Or were they're racially ambiguous?
Sure.
And
No, I think
curly hair.
that's something I learned from Robert Greene, which is like, how do you make people, like, it's important that people see themselves in the character of a book. So Robert uses a diversity of examples. I try to do the same, but it's not just like white and black, but just across.
Yeah, the whole kids section.
Yeah, this was the kitchen of it when it was a restaurant.
There you go. There's a little black girl.
There you go. Sam, do we have each kindness still?
Do you have one with a black Jewish girl?
Let me see.
You have an afro and a...
Have you read the book with no pictures? You'll get that as a gift like a bazillion times.
I haven't.
So I won't give you that one. I'm trying to find. It's called Each Kindness.
Do you think you're going to be a Texan forever?
I think it would be pretty hard to move at this point.
We just got a place in Westport, Connecticut.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the most yuppie place on earth, and it's beautiful.
That's interesting. I can't see it.
Are you from Texas?
No.
No, we're both. I'm from Northern California. She's from Southern California. Oh, here it is.
Sweet. What is it? Oh, look. There's
I know. That's why I thought about it. It's a great book.
It's a great book.
Wow, you guys are hooking me up, man.
That's what it's for.
That's what my kid's going to look like, I think. I'm not joking.
It's really good. It's really good.
This is awesome, man. I appreciate all this.
I read a lot. It's sort of my job. You can't write without reading. For almost 15 years now, once a month, I send out an email with my favorite book recommendations for that month. Books that I've been reading, books that I've been going through, books that changed my life, that inspired me, that I think connect to what's happening in the world. And you can sign up right now at ryanholiday.net/reading list.